It's been several years since Jurassic World Evolution released, and many fans have been curious as to when we'll see the next Jurassic World video game, seeing as Jurassic World Dominion, the 6th entry in the Jurassic Park series, edges ever closer. And we finally have an answer with this newly announced Jurassic World game. But if you like being the first to hear about breaking news, then follow us on Twitter at DangervilleTeam, where we share all kinds of updates before we even make a video about it. Right, now, let's get to it. I'm Alistair, and welcome to Dangerville. Jurassic World Evolution was released on 12th of June 2018, over 2 years ago. This park simulator served as a spiritual successor to Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, the classic park building game, which I loved as a kid. It's still one of my favorite games. But there's a genre with tons of potential for the Jurassic Park series, and that's survival horror. The closest we have to a survival horror was Trespasser all the way back in 1998, and I think we all know how that turned out. People have been craving for a new Jurassic Park game that indulges in the horror genre for years, especially since it seems like every time a horror-themed Jurassic Park game is in production, it's cancelled before we even get our hands on it. Some of you might remember the Resident Evil-inspired Jurassic Park game, fittingly called Survival. Originally meant to release alongside Jurassic Park 3, but unfortunately was cancelled due to budget problems. Or maybe you remember Jurassic World Survivor, a cancelled survival horror from 2015 that was reportedly going to be a Left 4 Dead clone, where players would team up to take down packs of dinosaurs. We don't know too much about this game apart from this screenshot that made its way across the web, and that it was originally meant to release alongside Jurassic World, but was cancelled due to unknown reasons. So fans have been craving some new Jurassic World survival goodness, and we've finally been delivered it in the form of Jurassic World Aftermath. This first-person adventure game is being developed by Coatsink and published by Universal Games, and finally delivers the survival horror game that fans have been hoping for. The description given by the developers goes as such. Crash-landed on Isla Nublar 2 years after the fall of Jurassic World, your mission to recover valuable information goes disastrously wrong. When you find yourself trapped in an abandoned research facility, your only hopes of escape is to recover the confidential research for your employers on the mainland as quickly as possible, all whilst being hunted by the deadly velociraptors unwittingly set loose during the island's evacuation. To survive this adventure, you'll need to explore the research facility, solve puzzles, and find ways to distract and hide from the ferocious velociraptors that stalk your every move. So this sounds pretty interesting, as your character must step onto the fated island of Isla Nublar 2 years after the fall of Jurassic World. Naturally, all goes terribly wrong, and you become trapped in this abandoned research facility filled with less than welcoming dinosaurs. Your only way off the island is to recover the research scattered throughout the facility for those who sent you here, which are most likely InGen, without becoming lunch for the velociraptors, which escaped when everyone evacuated the island. This means Blue could very well make an appearance, and should instill the fear that the raptors have been missing for quite some time now. The game looks to be inspired by many survival horrors like Outlast and Alien Isolation, in the sense that you have a creature stalking you that's sensitive to sounds and location, and you can even hide in spaces like lockers or under tables. There will also be puzzles which require various tools in order to unlock an item, as well as utilizing the environment to distract the ferocious dinosaurs that stalk your every move. The gameplay looks to give fans of the Jurassic series everything they could ever want from a survival horror, though the cartoony, cel-shaded art style will no doubtly be rather controversial. Some might have wanted a more realistic-looking game, but the graphical fidelity comes at the advantage of being able to be played on as many devices as possible, so you won't need a $1,500 machine to run this thing. The name Jurassic World Aftermath was actually leaked earlier this year in April 2020 when a trademark for a video game was created by Universal, stating clear as day, Jurassic World Aftermath. Obviously, the fanbase went wild over the possibility of what this could be, with some believing that this was a revival of the cancelled Jurassic World Survivor game, but obviously now we know what it is, and whilst it's visually quite different, the idea is something that fans have been dreaming for years. As for devices, Aftermath is currently a virtual reality exclusive and will be playable on Oculus Quest 1 and 2, though the game will potentially find its footing on other platforms and that it's only currently a timed exclusive. We've seen it happen with other games like Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR game, so chances are it'll happen here. They want to maximize profits at the end of the day. I'd personally love to see it on PlayStation VR, which is my VR platform of choice. Now, I know the news isn't going to go down well with the community that have waited years for a new Jurassic Park survival horror game, but there are options for the more impatient ones out there. Deathground is an upcoming survival horror game coming to PC that should satisfy those unable to play VR games, being a solo or co-op game where you are thrown into a desperate battle to outwit an array of dinosaurs that stalk your every move. Inspired by Alien Isolation, this is practically the Jurassic World Survivor game we've all been waiting for, just without that iconic branding. Just to clarify, we are no way affiliated with this studio, but the game just looks really cool and I can't wait to get my hands on it when it comes out. As for Jurassic World, I'll just have to wait and see on whether Aftermath makes its way to other platforms so I can play the game I've craved for years. So that's Jurassic World Aftermath, a really cool looking VR title that I'm hoping comes to other devices down the line, since it looks like a neat title that gives hardcore fans what they've been dreaming for so long. But what do you think of it? Are you happy or disappointed? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this news, then subscribe and stomp that notification button to become a resident of our lovely town of Dangerville today. I've been your host Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.